Giants look to rebound as they battle a Bears team fighting to stay in the playoff hunt. Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues next.
Welcome to a very cold and wet Chicago, Illinois. 46 degrees the temperature, and the temperature is dropping. The field condition terrible. The footing will be treacherous for the Giants and the Bears on this matchup today on Fox. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. Troy Aikman is coming right up. Well, have you ever read as much or heard as much about a special teams player as you have Devin Hester coming into this game? Worth every bit of the talk, and you could make the case that single-handedly with his 2 kick returns for touchdowns last week against Denver, he kept the Chicago Bears playoffs hopes alive. And now we talk to Troy, and Troy will talk about the quarterbacks, and I think you could make a pretty easy case to say that Grossman, who was benched after the first 3 starts, has played better since he got the job back.
He has played better. I mean, he certainly understands that he can do a better job in that area, but Rex Grossman really is not the focal point of this offense for the Chicago Bears. It's about the running game, and they've not run the football well all season long. They started to pick it up here the last couple of weeks, but today they're going to be doing it without Cedric Benson, and they're hoping that Adrian Peterson, who will be stepping in his place, can give them something that they've really not had much of this year.
It's real easy to forget that the Giants are 7-4, and that record will get you far in the NFC the way things are right now. But it's that way because of the way Eli Manning is just picked apart, whether it's what he does on the field or after the game in front of the microphones. And he's going to need to have a good one today after a brutal week.
Yeah, I think that he's going to need to get off to a good start. I mean, every quarterback will tell you when you go into a game, you want to have a good start. But in light of the week that Eli Manning has had, I think it becomes even that much more important. And it's not going to be easy here today. He's here on the road in a hostile environment. Conditions are very sloppy. It's been raining all morning and early afternoon. But they're going to need to see more out of him than what he was able to give them last week against Minnesota.
We're going to see Eli Manning right out of the gate, and you look at the number 21 worn by players on teams across the NFL in honor of the late Sean Taylor, who passed away on Tuesday after being shot in his home late Sunday night, early Monday morning. And there are a number of players on these 2 teams that are playing in this game here late today on Sunday who are going to do everything they can to try and make it to the airport after this game and get to Miami for the funeral services tomorrow. The Bears, by the way, play Washington on Thursday. But right now it's Chicago and New York. And on the dead run, it's Reuben Drones on the return, and Drones will cross the 35. Good starting field position for the Giants and Eli Manning. The way he answers questions about his performance, about the offense's performance. He has had a rough week. On first down, starts with a throw and hits Plexico Burress, who falls forward for a first down. 11 yards.
The guys in the locker room and come out prepared to have a big game this week. And I know that it's important to Eli, and he's worked hard in doing that.
Here's Derek Ward, who is back in the lineup and starting for Brandon Jacobs. Ward missed 4 games with an ankle and a groin injury. He was really running well. They didn't have Jacobs at the beginning of the season, was hurt in that season opening loss in Dallas. Ward stepped in, Troy, and when he was healthy and in there, he really impressed everybody.
Yeah, when he's had his opportunities, Joe, he's made the most of them. He's done very, very well. And, you know, then the last few weeks, they've been without Brandon Jacobs along with Derek Ward, and they've had to rely on Reuben Drones, excuse me.
Second down and 5 for the Giants. Another handoff to Derek Ward. Gets to the edge, cups it upfield, and has a nice gain on second down of 13 yards. A fresh set of downs for the Giants, who are putting together a good opening drive.
And I think, you know, like we talked about, you know.
Second throw from Manning. Unleashes and throws it right into the arms of Urlacher. The last thing that Eli Manning wanted on the first possession today, 4 picks last week, 2 passes here today, 1 completion, 1 interception.
Well, you can see the space, right, that Eli Manning sees, and you know, I don't know if the ball's getting away from him or if he expected Jeremy Shockey to cross Brian Urlacher's face. I mean, it was clear that Shockey set in the hole where the hole was, and there was been a miscommunication. And I got to tell you, going back to last week, it seems that there are a lot of miscommunications, and I don't know if that's all Eli or if it's all on the receivers or what exactly it is we're going to be doing.
Grossman trying to find somewhere to go, and he hits Peterson in stride. Down the sideline, an impressive throw.
Quarterback hits.
2nd down and 12 over the middle. It's Desmond Clark. He's got a first down for Chicago at the Giants 39.
You know, I like what Chicago's doing. They're going into a hurry-up offense in the world, but he is trying to get a fast-paced offense going right now.
Grossman with a pocket, steps up and hits. Muhsin Muhammad for 11 the rest of the year. But they love this guy, and he's finally getting a chance to start. Blitz, complete, Clark, first down. Grossman really seeing it well here on the first possession for the Bears.
He really is. I know that was a big win last week. He struggled through a big part of that game, but then at the end, especially in overtime, he made the plays that he had to make to get here today.
Peterson carries it, big hole.
His opportunity.
Peterson first down to the 2. And I don't think there's any doubt that the Bears coming out in a no-huddle, a fast-paced offensive attack has caught this Giants defense on its heels.
Yeah, and Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, has done a great job because they're still giving the plays to Rex Grossman in his ear through the communication device between coach and quarterback, and they've done a good job of mixing it up. I mean, it hasn't just been run, it hasn't just been pass. They've pretty much been balanced with what they've done. Now, they huddled before this play here down on the goal line.
Play action from Grossman over the middle. Touchdown Clark. 24 last year and led the league in takeaways, something the defense has not been doing for Chicago. This is Bradshaw, survives 1 hit and gives the Giants good field position, inches across their own 30. 18-yard return, back to the field as Urlacher, his Bears up 7-0 after that touchdown to Desmond Clark. Issues has to try and guide this Giants attack while they play from behind almost right out of the gate. And a 2-yard carry brought down by Urlacher is Ward. And
I know, you know, relative to Plexico Burress, I mean, he hasn't practiced all season long.
Here's Ward again, left side, and he is brought down immediately. Anderson over there, Agunlie in on the stop, a gain of only 1, 3rd down coming up.
The level you'd like. I mean, there's just a lot of uncertainty as to what is being asked or what they expect of each other.
Eli airs it out. Penalty flag is thrown. There was some contact. Sonoris Moss downfield. He was working against Tremaine McBride, and we'll see if this is indeed against Chicago. Looks like it.
Yeah, Tremaine
Prior to the
McBride.
pass, holding 26 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And a good call there, and you know, you can tell his job is not running anywhere near like what he had been earlier in the year with that same bad ankle.
First down, just a 5-yard penalty on the defensive hold, and Ward carries it left side. McGowan on the stop, a gain of 2. Let's go for a game break. Here's KurtFell.com. Penalty was on Tremaine McBride 2 plays ago. He's playing and starting in place of Nathan Vasher, who's missing his 9th straight game with a tear in his groin. Eli Manning nowhere to go. A good 3rd down and 5, and a handoff is to Ward. And Ward is brought down 1.5 yards shy of a first. That gets a reaction from this crowd because Devin Hester will be back. And if Devin Hester has any chance of returning this punt, it is a mistake by Jeff Feagles, who is the best in the history of the NFL at this particular objective of downing the ball inside the 20 and not allowing a return. He is a weapon today, Feagles, for the Giants. Gets a low snap, angles it for the sideline, steps out of bounds before Hester can put his hands on it. They mark it at the 19-yard line.
Into Devin Hester's hands. I thought Ron Turner made a good point. We'll put him at 12 yards, direct snap it to him, and treat it like a punt return.
He didn't really laugh when he said it. 3rd and 5.
They were serious.
Grossman in trouble, throws it away. Chased on the play by big Fred Robbins and OCU Manura. And there's Fred Robbins again showing up. He helps to force the throw and a 4th down.
They were looking for Bernard Berrien on the outside, and as you said, because of the pressure, and then Berrien just trying to get open, he and Rasheed Davis end up in the same spot. Fred Robbins there, and then, of course, the pressure by OCU Manura. OC's had him a good couple of weeks as well.
You went a little country on me there. Maynard hits it. McQuarters. He doesn't have him a very good return. Just across the 20. And we'll see how Eli and the offense gets along with their 3rd possession. Keep an eye on that. 1st down for the Giants. Manning with a pocket, airs it out. Burris downfield. It's not there. And there just is no burst for Plexico Burris, who's now playing with a bad left knee to go with his sprained right ankle.
Yeah, and watching that game last week, it's very hard for him to make cuts, and you admire the guy because he's in a great deal of pain. He's battling through things, but he's not able to practice during the week, and so he and Eli haven't been able to work on anything either. I mean, there's just a lot of things going against a quarterback having success right now, for this Plexico Burris being one of them.
2nd down and 10, and that play never got underway. It's a false start against the Giants. We've seen a lot of this for the Giants.
False start, 69, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
We've done games where there have been delay of game calls against the Giants at home. We've seen a lot of false starts. Last week, Dave Deal had a tough time out at left tackle. This time, they get Seibert, the left guard, and it brings up 2nd and 15. Not a very tight unit, to say the least, with execution. 2nd down and 15 with 1:02 remaining in the opening quarter. Hand off to Ward, and Derek Ward crosses the 35 and is out near the 37 pick. After 1 quarter, down by 7. A blitz from the Bears and a reverse to Hickson, who is wrestled down by Alex Brown.
Spent a lot of time working on this past week.
2nd and 18. Manning with all day down the middle, throws behind Burris. It'll bring up 3rd down and 18, and we go to Kurt for a game break.
Bucs and Saints, and with a win by New Orleans, they could move a game behind Tampa Bay for the lead in the NFC South.
Giants fans nuts.
Yeah, sometimes when you're really pressing, you start aiming the ball, you just don't turn it loose, and that's what it looked like Eli was doing on that last throw.
3rd down and 18. Underneath, playing it conservatively, it's Ward. Well short of a 1st down. And so, if you listen real carefully, you can hear Giants fans all the way from New York saying, come on.
Well, those wasn't where it was supposed to be. That was pretty clean. You got a guy running a square and you got a clean look at it. Those are balls you got to be able to complete.
Fiegels aims straight for the sideline, away from Devin Hester. Puts it in his hands, but there's just nowhere to go. So a 5-yard return for Devin Hester. Another possession for Chicago. Bears lead it by 6.
When you're running and trying to make a catch as opposed to fielding one on a punt.
A blitz from the Giants, and Grossman is wrapped up. Is it a safety or not? They're going to say he was corralled at the 1, no safety. But great pressure by Madison off a corner blitz.
Well, we've seen it now twice. We saw it on the previous play. They bring pressure again, off the edge. And they're trying to get John Tate, the left tackle, out to him. And then Rex Grossman sees that it's coming, and rather than go down, he tucks and almost winds up with a safety.
So now snapping from the 1 is Patrick Manley, the long snapper for the Bears, and Maynard from the back of the end zone. And that was hit funny or somebody got a hand on it, and the ball will stop rolling near the 32. The Quarters trying to get in there at the end. They ran him out there. There was pressure by David Tyree, who is a Pro Bowl special teams player. Did he get a hand on it? I think so. A hand, a helmet, a shoulder pad, whatever it was. And because of it, just a 31-yard punt.
Yeah, you get backed up, and that's what...
This could be a big swing in the game. Think about the drop by Hester, which would have been his second 81-yard touchdown catch and run of the year. Then the sack by Madison, and now this from Derek Ward after the short punt. Ward still on his feet and down inside the 5. They're going to mark him at the 1. It's 1st and goal. What a turnaround this is in the last 3 minutes.
Watch Madison Hedgecock here and the job that he does kicking out. You know, right there, which gives Ward then that seam. Tell you, Ward's running the ball awfully well. Big hole there. I mean, not a lot of running backs are not going to be able to pick up a lot of yardage with the hole that he had. But he is running tough, and he's finishing runs at the end.
This is Drones, and he pounds it in for a touchdown. Reuben Drones has 6 touchdowns. Meanwhile, the challenge flag, I believe Lovie Smith was challenging that Ward had stepped out of bounds going down the sideline before getting to the 1. But they didn't see the flag, let the snap happen. And Reuben Drones at the moment is credited with his 6th touchdown run, all 6 one-yard touchdown runs this season. Let's look. Here's what Lovie Smith was challenging on the previous play.
Prior to the ball being snapped, Chicago was challenging.
He's in.
The runner had stepped out of bounds prior to getting to the 1-yard line.
I think he's in the whole way.
Well, I do too, but I mean, how do you come back after the play has been run? I mean, Lovie says that the flag was out prior to the play. Probably was, but if nobody saw it, how do you not count the touchdown?
So right now we're in a Chicago challenge. Take a look at the challenge flag right over the peanut gallery. I pointed to the wrong spot there, Troy, but right over there, but the ball's already been snapped and the challenge flag is flying in. I agree with you that it was too late to challenge, and Lovie Smith, he doesn't care if they lose the challenge. Either way, it takes the touchdown.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The runner did not step out of bounds. It'll be 1st and goal from the 1. Chicago will be charged with their first team timeout.
But the Bears benefit because it takes a touchdown off the board.
Well, that's right. And I mean, he threw it before he knew what the result of that play was, but the flag was thrown as the ball was being snapped by the Giants. And so to me, if it's not thrown in a timely fashion to where the officials can recognize that it's out and a challenge is being made, then it shouldn't count. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, this whole challenging thing, people know where I stand on it. I'm just against it. I don't think it works as well as what it's supposed to. And too many times we see things like what we just saw.
So now it's Drones, and he's brought down and loses 2. So Tom Coughlin got the explanation while we were in break. And one of the officials said, well, we saw him throw the flag, but by our estimation, the flag hadn't even hit the ground and the ball had been snapped. And because they awarded the challenge, it took a touchdown off the board, and now with the Chicago defense, they have a chance to keep the Giants out of the end zone as Mark Anderson made that last play. 2nd and goal. Again, Drones doesn't get there. Going nowhere, and Lance Briggs was in the middle of it. For Chicago, it's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, Lance Briggs, I mean, what a year he has had, and to think that they may not have even have had him. He comes shooting right through the middle there and misses Hedgecock and is disruptive just enough to where he's not able to get any kind of leverage to get into the end zone.
We'll take a break. A player for the Bears is down and getting looked at. Darwin Walker getting checked. So now it's 3rd down and goal.
Right. I think the point you made, Joe, on that challenge was Lovie Smith was going to win either way.
Right. And he's won to this point if his defense can keep the Giants out of the end zone. Handoff is to Ward, and justice is served as Ward gets in for the touchdown on 3rd and goal. So the Giants pound it in, and you go from what looked like an 81-yard touchdown throw to Devin Hester on one end to a sack by Madison, a short punt, good play by Tyree, a couple of big runs by Derek Ward, and he gets his 3rd touchdown run of the season on 3rd and goal.
Well, it was a nice job, you know, with the field position for the Giants on that possession to be able to finish it off and come away with a touchdown as opposed to a field goal, which a lot of times is what they have had to settle for this year.
Lawrence Tynes now. High snap, drills it through. Go back to the Hester drop, trying to get the hang of it on offense, now running away from the ball instead of running toward it. He could not make the connection. Ward pounds it in. Tom Coughlin and the Giants have tied it at 7. Running game's working today for the Giants so far. Derek Ward, 9 carries, 69 yards, and he pounded it in on a big 3rd and goal. And the Giants have tied this game at 7. He's impressive. At one point picked up off the practice squad from the Jets. And without Brandon Jacobs, their big feature back, they're not missing much with Derek Ward in there right now.
No, they're not. And even when Derek Ward was down, I thought Reuben Drones had done a good job running the football as well. And it's a good thing the Giants came into the season with some of the depth that they have at the tailback position. And even their rookie, Ahmad Bradshaw, last week got an opportunity. I thought he showed some flashes also.
Now we get to see how the Giants are going to try it with Devin Hester back there. They kick it directly to Rasheed Davis. And Rasheed Davis is out across the 33-yard line. So we welcome you into our booth, and with the Chicago, and now there's a little skirmish down the field, they break up. With the Chicago offense back on the field, I think it's worth bringing up what you said earlier, that you sensed some relief on the part of Rex Grossman, who is now back. On 2nd and 10, pressure on a blitz, and it's Olsen, the rookie tight end, doing all he can. 3rd down coming up, and let's go to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Wasn't going to be there, but I will tell you there were a lot of players asking me where he was. I was surprised they even had to ask. He was fishing.
They had a 15-year reunion in Dallas. The Cowboys took on Green Bay on Thursday. The old coach was a no-show. Here is Grossman being swallowed up in the backfield. Strahan in on the sack. Justin Tuck as well, a loss of 3, 4th down, and the defense for the Giants is showing up after a bad first series.
Well, this front, I mean, you're going to see the defensive front for the Giants. They just do a great job of getting pressure. You know, you got Strahan coming off the edge, and then Umanura as well, and then when you get guys up inside, I mean, that's a good group of guys that can get after the quarterback, not just in this game, but as they have all year.
Quick 3 and out. Corner slip. I don't think the ball touched him. They throw a penalty flag on it. The ball was touched by Chicago at the 25. It's an illegal touch. It belongs to the Giants. The kicking team cannot be the first to touch it. The only issue is whether it hit McQuarters, which it didn't look like it did as McQuarters slipped.
Well, you get that close to the ball and you just don't know what that ball is going to do, and he was fortunate that it bounced then to the left and away from him.
But if it does not, to repeat, if it did not hit McQuarters, and the only question, did it nick his hand along the way? There's a flag down anyway. But once the Bears touch it, the ball belongs, again, if it doesn't hit McQuarters, to the Giants, because it's in the category of an illegal touch. But we'll check the marker, and I don't know if they're discussing right now whether it did hit McQuarters. If it did, then it's a different story, and the Bears can get the football.
Well, from what we saw, I mean, it didn't look like it was anywhere close.
McQuarters is telling his teammates it didn't hit his hand. So the long discussion, there's a lot to determine here. But the main thing is whether the ball hit McQuarters. If it missed him altogether, and that didn't hit his hand, if it missed him altogether, it looks like it did. The Giants will have the football.
Well, if it hit him at all, it hit him down around the ankle or in the shin. And from the first look that we had, it didn't look like it was close to hitting him there either.
I would agree. I thought the only question was whether it hit the hand, and that second replay, the one we just showed you, didn't look like it caught him in the hand at all. Here's another angle. That ball misses, I think. It misses his foot and ankle. It doesn't come close to his hand, and so the Giants should get the ball because it was first touched by Chicago after him. It's kind of an illusion. I don't think that hit his hand.
Illegal touching of the kick by the kicking team, number 21, who went out of bounds and came in and was the first to touch the kick. 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
So, hey, RW, you got to go back. Hey, put your helmet on. You got to go back and return another punt.
He's pretty proud that he was right and saying that he didn't touch it.
Well, he didn't touch it, and here's where the flag was as they get Corey Graham for going out of bounds and being the first to touch it. And they are going to make Chicago re-kick. They could tack on 5 yards at the end of the punt, but they're going to make them re-kick. And with a sloppy field. This one sends McQuarters back to the 25. A chance for a return. Good coverage downfield, and McQuarters out to the 31. That's it. 6-yard return. Garrett Wolf downfield to make the stop. Giants have it. Tied at 7. Snacks provided by Ben Altop. So it's a make good.
Happy birthday, Ben.
Happy birthday, Ben. First down, Giants. Tie game starting from their own 31, and Derek Ward with a leap, a gallop, and out of bounds near the 35 of Chicago. 33-yard run. Tillman forced him out, and another impressive carry by Derek Ward.
Yeah, right off this left side, you know, with Seibert and Deal and getting the push, and then Ward being able to get inside of those blocks and then back to the outside, and Burris doing a good enough job anyway on Tillman in the secondary so that Ward could then get up the sideline. But I'll tell you, Ward is having himself a heck of a first half.
Already over 100 yards on the day. Manning steps up and hits Amani Toomer. First down.
Should have gotten Satin down a few weeks ago.
That ball just slips out of the hand of Eli Manning. They're calling it a fumble, and Chicago takes over. Anthony Adams on the recovery for Chicago, and let's take a look.
But, yep, open hand. I mean, they call that the open hand, and if the arm is going forward and the hand is empty, then it's a fumble. And as you can tell, the ball comes out as soon as he brings his arm back to make the throw. I mean, I know the conditions aren't that great. There's been some precipitation. You know, but we've seen that not just from Eli. We've seen that from a number of quarterbacks this year. And
turnover of the day, a Manning interception, now this fumble. It's big news for a Bears team that hasn't been getting takeaways like they did a year ago, but that was a gift. And now Adrian Peterson carries it for 3 yards on first down after the Bears take over.
Well, it's a gift, and it's a points on that possession, and then only to give it to the Bears.
2nd and 7, more of a hurry-up attack by Chicago, just like they opened the game. And this is Olsen on the catch.
Defense, you get the ball right back to your offense.
Manning throws down the sideline. Grossman does, and it's caught by Berrien. Madison on the tackle. What a throw by Rex Grossman. And Bernard Berrien there on the other end. 50 yards. Back to the Bernard Berrien catch. This was one-handed, wasn't it?
It looked like it sure was. And he used his right arm to show that from Santana Moss a couple of weeks ago there with the Redskins. It's a great play. Bernard Berrien, who also had a great game in last week's win over Denver.
First and goal from the 5, and Peterson's going to lose a yard. Kavika Mitchell came in to make the play.
They're playing at such a fast pace that some of the guys don't know when they're going to the line or when they need to get huddled. Rex getting them back in the huddle right before this play.
Play clock at 2 as Grossman got the snap and throws it away. Olsen was close enough to it, and the ball very close to 3rd and goal. Pump from Grossman. He's in trouble, and down he goes. Michael Strahan again. Strahan really coming on after a slow start to the season with a camp holdout. And Strahan has been in on a couple. He's into the double digits on sacks now.
Yeah, he's come on here over the last several games as well. And, you know, clean pocket inside. And Rex Grossman had room to step up. I think the one thing about Olin Kreutz at center, he doesn't give up a lot of pressure, so there usually is somewhere to step up. You don't want to bail out the back end like Rex did, because that's where you're going to run into these defensive ends for the Giants.
35-yard try by Cole is drilled. And the Bears are back on top. However, after the Manning fumble, the Giants defense gave up the 50-yarder to Berrien and a 1st and goal Chicago, and the Bears only get 3.
And what he's dealt with, I mean, it's important to come into this game and get off to a good start, feel good about the way that he has been playing, and that has not happened here in this first half. But, you know, if they're able to do something here with this possession, drive down, get points on this drive prior to halftime, that'll make this team feel a lot better at half.
So far, Manning has only attempted 8 throws on this sloppy day in Chicago, and that carry by Ward was good for 4.
Again, Tom Coughlin stressed it. We have got to run the football better than what they had the 2 previous weeks, and they've certainly done that here in this first half.
Manning hit Hedgecock right in the numbers, but Madison, the fullback, couldn't hang on, and it's now 3rd and 6.
Yeah, and I don't know that it would have mattered.
6. Play clock expiring. Just get it away. A toss to Ward running right. Brought down short of 1st down yardage, so they don't want Manning throwing it on 3rd and long. They'd rather have Ward run it, and it's not enough. 4th down.
Well, that's the second time they've done that here in this first half, to where it's been really a passing down on 3rd down, and they've tried to run a draw or run a quick sweep and pick up the 1st down, and those are hard distances to pick up in those situations. And, you know, it does look like that Kevin Gilbride, as the play caller, is trying to protect Eli a little bit in how he's calling the game.
So here's Haskins. Fiegels angles toward the sideline, hits a good punt with a lot of air under it, and drives Hester back near his own end zone. Good coverage downfield. And forced out at the 10 after a 53-yard punt is Hester by Chase Blackburn.
Well, Fiegels is
one in the history of the NFL in punts and punt yardage. Good guy to have when you're facing a team with Devin Hester. Here is Peterson over the right side and out to the 15-yard line. The big 21-yard completion from Rex Grossman to Muhsin Muhammad. They have the lead with 2 minutes left in the half. He finishes, he could be back here. It could be a Joey Harrington type situation as he spins, gets out of trouble, and throws it right through the hands. Coming up right after this. There's the score, 13-7 at the half. Start of the 3rd quarter is moments away. Fantasy update. Rex Grossman has 4 20-plus yard completions. He has had trouble under pressure, as we heard Troy and then Howie talk about at halftime. Big day for Derek Ward, already 110 yards. And Desmond Clark with a touchdown for Chicago on their first possession. Now it's Devin Hester. The words of Lawrence Tynes, who kicks away for the Giants. We are not dumb tough. We all like to be tough, but we're not dumb tough, and I'm not, meaning Tynes. It is was not his objective to kick it anywhere near Devin Hester. Instead, he kicks it out of bounds, and there's the fear factor of Devin Hester. In essence, on a windy day in Tynes' defense, the Giants would rather Chicago get it at the 40.
Ball will be placed 30 yards from the spot of the kick.
Joe, I don't think that that's what Tynes was trying to do. I mean, you say dumb, tough, and all that, and I understand what you're saying, but, you know, that's pretty dumb what just happened, giving the ball to the Bears on the 40-yard line. And as we said, Tom Coughlin said, hey, this is a game about field position. Well, now you're giving the Bears great field position to start this second half.
It is the fear of what the other option is, which is Hester with the ball in his hands and that good blocking in front of him. Part of a terrific Dave Toad special teams approach. So angling that one off to the side, it either got away from Tynes or just headed out of bounds because of the wind. Let's go down to the field and check in with Pam. For the Chicago offense.
Well, that's a good job by this Giants defense. I mean, here they give the Bears great field position on the 40-yard line, and then to force a 3-and-out, and now give the ball back to their own offense. That's a nice job there defensively.
Good punt. Spiral turns over, and McQuarters from inside the 15. The 20, and that was it. They're going to mark him right at the 20. Gilmore on the stop, 7-yard return. Eli Manning and the Giants offense to the field, down by 6. End zone to our right, and the Giants receiving today, that may tell a story in a roundabout way. I mean, the Giants have had the ball, Troy, 6 possessions. Manning has thrown 9 passes. We'll keep an eye and thoughts on the play calling here. See how much they want to put it in Eli's hands. Down by 6, starting at the 20. And Derek Ward lost the football. That's his 4th straight game with a forced fumble and 3 turnovers. See if it's number 93.
He's coming in on the backside, if in fact it was him, and it sure was. He got in there with the right arm as he was making the tackle. And as you said, Joe, he's had one in each of the last 4 games now. And, you know, he's playing now at the level that they had hoped that he would when he joined the team a few years ago. He's getting pressure on the quarterback, having, you know, really his best season.
Picked him up from Miami, Chicago did, as Peterson gets it and doesn't do much with it. Picks up 1. And Agunlie has not been a Pro Bowler since coming to Chicago, but this may be time for Chicago. Peterson. Broken. About a yard shy of first down. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kurt Metafili, and you look at what McCown has done. 21 of 24 playing for the injured Jeff Garcia, who's got a bad back. 255 yards and a touchdown. Here is Peterson. There is a first down. Chicago.
Injuries obviously have affected them, but today they put it together and they're playing very well.
Second down and 8. Peterson. Short of a first down by a couple, and now flag comes in at the end of the play. After the play was over and the whistles had blown. See if it's against Chicago for a little extra block at the end.
Well, and that's what the Giants players are indicating, that it's going to be against.
Man, that thing just got over the crossbar. Hit a wall of wind. Here's the fumble that set it up. Adewale Agunlie knocked it out, grabbed it. Bears had 3, lead by 9. Returns at 17 yards, and he was drilled by Jamar Williams. So Eli Manning and the offense back to the field. It's a 9-point Chicago lead.
If that's good defensive football or just bad offensive football, but either way, not a lot of movement.
Line drive punt. That's what Maynard wanted. That's what he got from inside the 15. Dockery. Rather, McQuarters out to the 25, and that's as far as he goes. So R.W. McQuarters, a 12-yard return. Giants offense back to the field as they trail. A 257 win percentage, 9-26. They fizzled last year. in the second half of the season. Here's another fumble. Trying to get it to Ward. Agunlier was in there on that play again for Chicago. And it stays with the Giants. That was almost crushing. Urlacher comes out of there with a football, but they had already motioned that it belongs to the Giants. Urlacher's behind everybody with a ball.
Yeah, he's wondering, how can it be the Giants' ball when I'm the one standing here holding it? You know, you're right. Agunlier, again, comes in with the right arm, right hand, knocks it out of Ward.
And there it is.
Yeah, and Michael Matthews is there on top of the ball. Urlacher then pulls it out late. But I'll tell you what, now, if you're over there and you're Kevin Gilbride and you're saying, hey, we're trying to protect the quarterback, it's in a little bit of a slump, and now we're not even able to give the ball to the guy who's been running the ball so well because he's put it on the ground the last 2 times he's had it.
Second down and 10. They do go back to Ward, and Ward pushes the pile. Game 7. Let's go for a game break, and Kurt Menefee.
All right, more nip-tuck between the Bucs and Saints. Luke McCown picked off by Mike McKenzie. He takes it back 53 yards for the score. It's McKenzie's 3rd interception of the year. He's returned 2 of them for touchdowns. This one gives the Saints a 1-point lead. Back to Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt, thanks. And a chance for New Orleans to get to the 500 mark at 6-6. Be a game behind Tampa Bay. There's Shockey at the top of your screen on 3rd and 3. They go underneath to the other tight end, and the pass is caught by Kevin Boss. His first catch of the day and a 4-yard gain for a first down.
You know, when you really look at this Giants offense, Joe, and you say, you know, who is a defense? Who do you really have to concern yourself with? I mean, there's nobody really that threatens you. I mean, usually when you look at any Jeremy Shockey, he's not a deep threat that's going to hurt anybody. And so the whole defense starts playing a lot closer to the line of scrimmage, and everything becomes harder.
Here's Ward out to the 40. And Lovie Smith will tell you it's good news for a defense when the biggest threat is a tight end on the other side. And part of that, as we've said already in this game, is the injury to Burris. That's why Burris is here. He's here to be the big receiver and the big downfield threat. He's got a bad knee, a bad ankle. He doesn't practice, and he really hasn't been a factor over the last 5 games.
And I think that's why the injury to Steve Smith is magnified, and then the development of Sonoris Moss.
2nd and 7. Sonoris Moss at the bottom of the picture. Fake handoff, penalty flag on the play. And underneath, it's Ward getting it into Chicago territory. But a flag is down. And it's an offside against Chicago, so the play will stand.
Offside, 97. Defense. A penalty decline. Play results in a first down.
A nice gain on that underneath throw of Derek Ward.
Yeah, and when you're able to get big chunks like that, regardless of how it comes about, whether it's underneath to a back and everybody's run off or outside to a wide receiver, I mean, those are the types of plays that ultimately lead to points, whether that's field goals or touchdowns. It is very hard in the National Football League to sustain drives without getting
Toss to Bradshaw. Tripped up. Lance Briggs in on the tackle, and he had help. But let's say this. I like what Gilbride's done on this particular drive. It hasn't been
catching the football and moving the ball.
2nd and 8. This could be a free play. Looked like Chicago came across prior to the snap.
Offside, 91. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Tommy Harris, who's been dealing with a bad knee, bad groin during the season, tried to get a jump, and it brings up 2nd and 3.
Yeah, Tommy Harris, I mean, he really hasn't been healthy all season long. In addition to the injuries you mentioned, he's also dealing with a back injury. And even though he's pretty much been banged up since the start of the season, he still is having a career year in terms of sacks.
2nd down and 3. Derek Ward takes his seat at the 35. Gain of only one. Urlacher in there to make the play. They've been talking a lot about Brian Urlacher and an arthritic back for the middle linebacker of the Chicago defense in the middle of everything. And he'll try to help stuff it on 3rd and 1. Handoff is to Ruben Drones, and he falls forward. It depends on the spot.
Giants were in a position to where they thought they had a very makeable, reasonable field goal opportunity. I think you kick the field goal. But because of where they're at on the 34, 35-yard line, I mean, that makes it a pretty lengthy attempt. I think going for it here on 4th and 1 is the right thing to do. To the edge, plenty. Dumped at the 25-yard line. Danielle Manning on the stop, but once Ruben Drones got it outside, an easy first down and a conversion on 4th down for New York. Play action. Shockey. First down inside the 10. They mark Shockey at the 7. And other than that little drop-off pass to Jeremy, that's his first catch down the field. Yeah, this is pretty good here. They had a chance in the seam there to Jeremy Shockey, and if they're able to get it to him and allow him to keep his feet, you know, there's a chance that he's then able to run that ball into the end zone.
18-yard completion, the longest completion of the day for Eli Manning. First.
It's a good drive here by the Giants, as you said, Joe, the way that they're mixing it up and hitting some underneath passes, some high percentage things, and then running the football, converting on the first downs. I mean, not a lot of big plays, but they've been pretty methodical in the way in which they've gone about it.
Career day for Ward. They try Ward left side, trying to get to the edge. Not going to make it, as Adewale Agunlie was out there to make the stop, and he had teammates with him. It's 3rd and goal with under a minute to play here in the 3rd quarter.
And again, it's Madison Hedgecock. Watch him at fullback. You just don't see a lot of true fullbacks in the league anymore, but you know, you can tell that Ward likes getting in behind him, and for a tailback to be able to get behind a fullback that they believe is going to make the block, I mean, that gives that guy a great deal of confidence in running the football. Hedgecock's been able to secure quite a few blocks on this possession.
3rd and goal. Play action. Manning avoids a sack for Burris. Picked off. Tillman. They're blowing the play dead as Tillman goes down the field. It's a touchback, but no points as Manning throws another pick.
I think Eli Manning is just pressing a little bit, Joey. He does a great job of getting out of the sack, but Tillman had position. The only chance he had for the touchdown was if he threw it high enough. You know, there it is, Alex Brown coming in, and he's able to get off of him. And then he throws basically a jump ball. But look at the position that Tillman has. And he's just hoping that he can get it high enough to give Burris an opportunity, but he wasn't able to. Burris was backing up. And so the point at which Eli threw it had to be a lot higher than what Eli thought when he let it go.
So now taking over at their own 20 are the Bears, who still lead by 9. Down the field, it's Desmond Clark. Perfect throw. Manning now has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, and that'll be 5 points.
That'd be a great job.
Pressure up front, a screen to Peterson, and what a terrific play by Kavika Mitchell. If Peterson gets away from Mitchell, it has a chance of being a big play. Instead, it's a gain of only 1, 3rd down and 16, and the Bears are not in field goal range.
Yeah, because he had some space out in front of him. You're right, Joe. And Kavika Mitchell, this isn't an easy job either. I mean, to make that tackle out in the open field, you know, against Adrian Peterson, you see the move that Peterson tried putting on him, but he's able to get just enough of the jersey there to pull him to the ground.
Kavika Mitchell leading this Giants defense with 9 tackles today. That was a big one. It's now 3rd and 16. Off his back foot, Grossman lets it go and overthrows Bernard Berrien. And that is a very impressive job by this Giants defense, led by first-year coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, to hold there. The 5-yard penalty certainly didn't help on the false start by Clark, and now it's a punt.
And what I like about what Steve Spagnuolo has done is he's not been afraid to bring pressure. On the last play, he brought R.W. McQuarters off the edge, one-on-one outside. Bernard Berrien had a step, but you got to make the completion. Of course, they give up the big play to Deb's team in it. Great job by the Giants defensively.
McQuarters will let it go over his head, and it goes into the end zone. Bears had a player down there. That was Graham, but he slipped and fell. Was in position to down it. Now he is.
Devin Hester again here on the outside, hoping that maybe he can do something for you.
Kevin Dockery lined up across from him. Grossman throws sideline and out of the reach of Berrien again. Berrien's been able to find some holes and get behind the defense. Grossman hits it. Quarters will stay away. And it's down at the 25. 32-yard punt, nothing on the return. 25-yard line is where the Giants will start, still trailing by 9. His second interception in as many weeks in the Bears end zone 2 possessions ago. It's still a 9-point game. Plenty of time left. Here's one down the middle of the field. Omani Toomer, a good throw from Eli Manning, a completion of 18 yards. Urlacher downfield to make the stop. They get to it. They hand to Ward, and Derek Ward adds to his career best total. Adds 8. More yards. It's 2nd and 2.
You know, at other now, there's a little under 11 minutes. There's still time. It's not something they have to do, but it's probably a good thing because Eli's been struggling, and try to get him out of that by going to the no-huddle offense.
Saw that last graphic on the game summary. 5 sacks today by this good Giants defense. First down by Ward as he gets it just outside the Chicago 45.
And you mentioned, Joe, the interception by Eli in the end zone to Charles Tillman.
First down, Giants. Pass complete. That's Plexico Burris. And it depends on the spot as to whether it's enough for a first down. Urlacher there to make the stop.
Yeah.
All-State BCS selection show coming up after this game. Another flag flies, and Manning ripped down by Darwin Walker. But a flag came in at the start of the play. And it looks like the Giants are going to get that 5 yards right back.
55, defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
It's Lance Briggs. Down. McGowan on the tackle. First down, New York, down by 9 with under 9 to play. Manning throws, and there's Eli Manning and Sonoris Moss not on the same page.
Well, and I think that, you know, from what I gather, that's probably on Sonoris Moss, and you know, he has not gotten a chance to play a lot, but you know, in talking with people in the organization, you see how he's running, and I could tell Eli Manning just wanted him to turn around, throttle that thing down. No one's covering you, and let's just get an easy completion. But you know, those are some of the perplexing things that Sonoris Moss.
Quick snap, and Ward has another big Giants first down. They almost caught Chicago with too many men on the field, which would have been an easy first down. And now Ward is hurt. Grabbing at his left leg.
Well, I know he's had the 2 fumbles today, but Well, he has really run the ball hard, and he's finishing the runs and has done a good job.
He just got a first down.
That ball's coming loose, too.
Left ankle took a big hit. First down, New York. Ball inside the Chicago 25. Manning down the middle, and a big hit. A flag is coming as Shockey was drilled downfield by Brandon McGowan.
Wasn't a lot of question about that one, was there? When you see Jeremy Shockey, he's going up the seam, and
Pass interference, 36, defense. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. First down.
Only problem was the back judge reached for his flag and whiffed.
Yeah, he couldn't get the flag out of his pocket, and that's why Shockey got up and didn't immediately see the flag and thought that they weren't going to make the call.
So it sets up first and goal. Giants working this fourth quarter into the wind. Manning steps up and throws incomplete. McBride flashed in front. Tyree, the intended receiver.
I tell you what, and Eli's fortunate that he threw that ball high. I'm not sure that he saw Trumaine McBride, but if he had thrown it to where his guy could have caught it, McBride would have been the one intercepting it. I mean, you're going to see here, trying to throw it into Tyree in the corner. But if he were to get that ball down to where Tyree could have caught it, but McBride has the interception.
Second and goal. This is Drones on the handoff to the 6. A gain of only 1. It's third down and goal, and we have seen different stretches within this game where Kevin Gilbride will make calls where it looks like he'd rather hand the ball off than put the ball in the hands of Eli Manning on a couple of third downs in the first half. And on that last call, what's it going to be on third and goal?
Well, I think you got to take a shot to the end zone. I mean, he had the interception, but you got to give him a chance here to get a touchdown on this possession.
Manning will pump, throws. It is incomplete. Amani Toomer says he caught it. The officials say it skipped in, and Amani Toomer was wide open.
Yeah, well, it's going to be close, and it's just a matter of, how if he did catch it, is there enough there to where they're able to change it? Now, let's just see if he caught it, first of all. He's got his hands underneath. And I think he did. I mean, it looked like he had his hands and his arms on the ground, and the ball came in. But is there enough there to where they'll be able to then overturn this call?
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
There's no doubt it's skipped, but I think you could make the argument that it's skipped along the arms of Amani Toomer and into his chest. But as you say, is there enough to overturn it? It's being challenged by Tom Coughlin. We've looked at it as close as we can. Maybe after it hits him in the chest, if it comes back down and hits the grass. Just too tough to tell.
Yeah, it looks like it bounced, Joe. Initially, it looked like he had his arms and hands underneath it, but from that angle there, it looked like his arms were separated. The ball bounced in between them. And regardless, from what we've seen, I don't see how they can overturn that.
Well, they're all watching it on the Jumbotron here. The Giants players are all signaling, yep, that's a touchdown. See, his hands are under it there.
From that angle there, it looks like it's a catch.
And look at this angle. His hands are underneath the football. Does the ball hit his chest, come up, and hit the grass afterward? I would say he catches it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell there after it comes in as to whether or not the tip of the ball touches the ground between his elbows.
So the question is it indisputable evidence? I think you could make the case that it isn't, and therefore that they would keep the call on the field. But you can see why Amani Toomer hopped up and immediately said, I caught it, and why the Giants players are watching that from the field on the Jumbotron, saying that should be a touchdown.
Yeah, I think a lot of times you can tell a lot by the body language of the player involved. The way Amani jumped up immediately and thought that he had it, you'd think that he would, obviously he knows better than anybody whether or not he caught it. But, having said that, what we've seen, I don't see enough there that they're going to come back and say, yeah, it's indisputable and he did in fact catch the ball and it's a touchdown. I think they're going to keep with the ruling on the field.
If they stay with the ruling, it's 4th and goal from the 6. They overturn it. It's a touchdown with the extra point coming and a chance to make it a 2-point game. So much is riding on this call by Walt Coleman, who's looking at it under the hood. But again, this look at it, as we slow it down, the hands are definitely underneath the ball. Does it hit his chest and hit the grass?
After reviewing the play, the receiver had his hands under the ball. It's a completed catch for a touchdown.
So the Giants get the call, and Amani Toomer makes a great catch, getting his hands underneath it. 50th career touchdown catch, and with the extra point coming, this is about to be a 2-point game.
Well, that is a great job by Amani Toomer. He seems to be the one guy that Eli Manning has the most confidence in, when he's turning the football loose. I am still surprised. I'm not questioning that whether his arms were underneath it, but I am surprised based on what we saw that they were able to overturn the call.
And the extra point is good. What a good job that was by Fiegels. Took a high snap, got it down, and that extra point makes it a 2-point game. And here's another look at the touchdown.
Yeah, here's it from the beginning, and you're going to see as Eli Manning is working to his left, Amani Toomer in the slot, and a ball that really should not have been as close as what it was. If Eli's able to get that ball up a little bit, then he makes the easy catch. But a great job here by Amani Toomer of getting into the end zone. Now he's drifting a little bit on Eli Manning. He's got to be able to put his feet in the ground and come back to the ball. And if he does that, then he creates an easier reception for himself as well.
I think so often they rely on that part of replay where they say there's not enough indisputable evidence to overturn the call. I would say in that case, from every look that we got at it, I think they got the call right. I think they could have said, well, we didn't see it totally to say that, yeah, he did catch it, but I think every angle we had, it looked like the hands were underneath the football, and they, in the end, got the call right.
I would agree with that. You saw there the hands and arms underneath the ball, and I think that's the one that they went off of to make the decision. And you are right that more times than not they'll fall back on, well, which they should. I mean, it appeared that he fully believed that he had caught it as well.
How about these gusts of winds just knocked the ball off the tee? So it is blowing down there, and it's been getting worse as we have gone along. Now the question is, can the Chicago team move the ball on the Giants defense? They've had great field position this half and haven't done a whole lot with it.
And the big problem is because the Bears have not run the football in the game with it last week. And 2 plays later, there was a touchdown in the Minnesota game, and he's done.
So now Maynard hits it high, and McQuarters goes nowhere. Ball is marked around the 23, so here we are again. Eli Manning has the opportunity. It's a 2-point game, a chance to get his team down the field and put him in a position to take the lead here late in the 4th quarter.
Well, and that's right. I mean, regardless of what's happened up to this point, good or bad, here we are with 5 minutes or so left in the 4th quarter, and you have a chance to go down the field and win the game for your team. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. That's what the quarterback position is all about.
Eli Manning has had some success with these chances. He is 27, trying to come up with a big win here today for the Giants. A handoff is to Reuben Drones. David Tyree back in the mix offensively, has a first down out across the 35 to the 36. And Eli.
Jeremy Shockey, he's having a hard time picking up the play that Eli is calling.
To block there, and Drones somehow lost the football and picked it right back up. Bounced right back into his arms, and a gain of 3.
He had a good hole in there, too. I mean, look at the lane that Drones has to go, and it's Tommy Harris that gets his arm on the ball. It looked like nobody touched it when he first went through at first blush, but Tommy Harris was the one who got it loose.
Under 3.5 to play. Second down, pass complete. That's Toomer to the 45-yard line. Remember, the Giants are working into the wind, which is a factor. Lawrence Tynes is the place kicker for New York.
Well, there's plenty of time. I would encourage Eli to slow things down a little bit if he wants to try to milk this thing down and make this the last possession for the game.
Handoff is to Draws, blocking out in front of him, shy of the 40. Picked up 4.5. Alex Brown on the tackle for Chicago.
You know, it's not surprising to me that Amani Toomer was on the receiving end of that last pass. You know, you can just tell the confidence level that Eli has in him. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he's looking at on each and every one of these next few passes.
And looks left, scans the field, comes back to his right. Pass is caught. David Tyree down inside the 20. 24 yards from Eli Manning, who is making it count now as we approach the 2-minute warning at Soldier Field.
And you'd have to believe that the Giants now are going to go to their huddle-up offense and try to milk the clock down.
Tyree with the catch. 2 on this possession. Giants on the march, down by 2. Now they just want to take as much time off the clock as they can. Well within field goal range. They go toward the end zone, and it's caught on a sliding catch by Plexico Burress.
And a good throw by Eli Manning, keeping that one down. I mean, you get down in this part of the field with good coverage by Charles Tillman, and to put the ball low to where only Plexico Burress was going to be able to make this catch. It's a real nice throw right there.
Let me ask you, we have seen, I think you and I have been on the same page thinking that it looked like they were being very conservative at times in this game with the play calling because of Eli Manning's struggles the last 2 weeks. He had a good drive the last possession. He threw the touchdown pass, and now here they are needing just a field goal. They put it in his hands, and he makes a great throw.
And that's a great point, and it's a great job by Eli Manning, and more importantly, it's probably a great call by Kevin Gilbride showing confidence, you know, in Eli Manning, because, you know, if that ball's intercepted or a turnover here, I mean, I don't know what happens back in New York, but you know, you try to pick up the first down, you want to score the touchdown. Now with 1 timeout left, now the Giants can elect to just run this thing down if that's what they want to do. They can run it down and then try to settle for a field goal. If they score now to take the lead, well, now they're going to give the ball back to Chicago with a lot of time on the clock. It's going to be interesting now to see what exactly the Giants are going to try to do.
And now timeout is taken. They're going to make sure, I guess, now that we're under 2 minutes, a booth review. So the timeout by Chicago allows the booth enough time to look at this by Burress, and nothing ever stood out to me to say it wasn't a catch, but let's look. I don't see the ball come loose at all.
I don't know what exactly they're reviewing. I thought it was a pretty clean catch by Plexico Burress, but I think what I think that I'm seeing that the Giants are going to try to do is we take another look at it. The ball's not moving. I think that's a catch. But the Giants can run this thing down to where the field goal is the last play of the game. And if they make it, they win. Instead of scoring here, scoring a touchdown, then forcing Chicago to have to score a touchdown of their own, but giving them time on the clock. I think if I were in Tom Coughlin's shoes, you know, and I understand this, field goals, there's no guarantee you're going to make a field goal, but I think that I would go with my field goal team and just make it the last play of the game.
And we saw this a couple of weeks ago in that Eagles-Redskins game, where the Redskins let the Eagles score just to have another shot at it with the ball in their hands. Here comes the call.
Ruling on the field stands of a completed catch.
So what you're saying is take a knee, make Chicago use their final timeout, let the clock drain out. You either make the field goal or you don't, but you hold on to the ball till the end, and that's how the game comes to a close.
Yeah, you would take a knee a couple of times in order to run it down to 3 seconds and then kick the field goal and win the game. You know, or as I said, you take the knee here, force them to run the last time out, maybe take a knee a second time, and then on third down, maybe you run it one time and see if you can't run it in.
Let's see what the Giants do on first and goal. It's drones, and they just let him walk into the end zone. So there's the good news for the Giants. They take their first lead of the day. But now the Bears, who knows how it's going to end, but they'll have Devin Hester waiting deep for the kick, and they'll have a minute and a half with a timeout to do something.
3 minutes, 22 seconds, 2 yards, touchdown.
Well, if you're just joining us, we know some new audiences just joined this telecast. The Giants just pounded the ball into the end zone to take their first lead of the day. Eli Manning struggled through most of the afternoon and evening, but the last 2 drives, outstanding. And he has put his Giants on top here with a minute 33 left in this game. What Troy and I were just talking about is that with a first and goal, the Giants could have elected to drain the game clock, take a shot at the game-winning field goal. Instead, the Bears will get the ball back, and they have the ultimate special teams weapon in Devin Hester waiting for the kick from Lawrence Tynes. There's Reuben Drones getting the touchdown. And now, here comes, which gives the Bears the ball at their own 40.
Right. That's right. And so now, if you're, I'm sure Coughlin is telling Tynes, hey, look, you cannot kick the ball out of bounds. Well, again, that's like saying don't kick it to Devin Hester. Those are easy things to say. And yeah, that's what you want to do, but then executing it's an entirely different thing. And, props to Eli Manning and the job that he did. I mean, he now, on that possession, got the team down the field, put them in a position to take the lead. And as I said, I mean, that's what quarterbacks are supposed to do. I mean, regardless of what's happened up to that point, can you get your team down the field and win a football game? And he's done his part. Now, because of the decisions that were made, now it's going to be up to the defense.
Tynes hits it. Hester's going to have a chance for a return. With blocking out in front of him, Devin Hester crosses the 40, and there's plenty of time for Chicago. One of the keys to the win would be controlling Devin Hester. Here's a screen to Peterson, and what a good play by the rookie Johnson. Michael Johnson came up and tripped up Adrian Peterson, a gain of only 1.
I'm not so sure Adrian Peterson doesn't score if Michael Johnson doesn't make that play.
Pass is complete to Clark. Clock will continue to run. So the Bears pick up the first down, and now all of a sudden, with the ball inside the 45, Grossman's going to clock it. They'll have a timeout left, and they'll have a chance. Down by 5. 36 seconds remaining. Let's go back to that play by the rookie Michael Johnson getting the start today.
Yeah, really a great job by him. And you're going to see that they get the ball. They come with the corner blitz. They get the ball to Peterson right there. And here's Johnson. And look at all that room out there that Peterson was going to have to run with blockers out in front of him. I mean, that was going to be a foot race to the end zone to see whether or not Peterson was able to get there.
Bears do have a timeout. Grossman fires for Davis. Can't make the catch. Stuck his hands out. Could not make the connection. It's 3rd and 15.
Sam Madison was underneath, and you're going to see he just takes off and goes. Here's Sam Madison. He goes right at the receiver. Never turned to try to even locate the ball. He immediately went right at him. Rasheed Davis, and then just took him to the ground. Because they do.
To the sideline for Berrien off his hands. Johnson there defending, but Berrien had it, and his hands are awful. Couldn't make the catch, and now it's 4th and 15.
Yeah, and deja vu going back to last week on 4th and long against Denver. Berrien had a chance there to make the play and just off his fingers. But last week they faced a similar situation against Denver and they had the illegal contact which kept the drive. They're going to need to make a play here.
4th and 15. Grossman steps up and hits Muhammad. First down, Chicago. And the Bears will spend their final timeout. 17 seconds
Time to work the middle of the field and get a clock to stop the clock, and then one shot into the end zone, but it'll be close.
Blitz from the Giants. Grossman, end zone. Davis out of his reach and out of bounds. 11 seconds left.
Well, now there's no time. I mean, they take the shot into the end zone, and now there's no time if they catch this ball in play for them to be able to get to the line of scrimmage and clock it, or to get another play off. So you've got to guard the goal line if you're New York, and then you want to keep them from being able to get out of bounds if they complete one underneath.
11 seconds to go. End zone again. This one falls incomplete. 4 seconds left. And barring a defensive foul, we are down to our final snap. The OT presented by Lowe's is coming up right after the action here. And after that, the All-State BCS selection show. Dockery out there getting the start today in place of the injured Aaron Ross.
If you're able to get Bernard Berrien and Musa Muhammad down into the end zone, and if Rex Grossman can buy enough time to let him.
Grossman lets it develop, fires for the end zone. It's broken up. There are no flags, and the Giants have come back to beat the Chicago Bears. Butler made the stop on that final throw, and Eli Manning, who was 7 of 9 for 95 yards and a touchdown on those final 2 drives, leads his team to a road win here in Chicago. They didn't lead until the end, and they come out of here with a 5-point win. Take a break and come back and wrap up our day after this.
Seconds until sack.
Work your eyes to the left.
Along with our producer Richie Zients, our director Artie Kempner, it's a 21-16 win for the Giants, and for New York, they're now 8-4. UPS leaderboard, Grossman had that day 296 yards. Derek Ward, a big day, hurt his ankle at the end of the ball game, and Amani Toomer 6 catches, a big touchdown down the stretch for the Giants. So for Troy Aikman and Pam Oliver, I'm Joe Buck. So long from Soldier Field. The OT presented by Lowe's, then the BCS selection show coming up now.